You just need to coordinate together so that she's spread out and has some time to prepare. And then the last one is a project. The project is usually due, again, on a certain week. There's sometimes teachers do it in different ways. Sometimes the project is the same project, and sometimes it's a list of projects. Or sometimes it's you make up your own project related to this topic. Generally, the teacher makes some suggestions. It can be very creative. It could be a variety of things. It could be making something, building something, a model, or a diorama, or have something to do with food, or art, or music. In science, it could be making like a board that you would present, or have a display, or a demonstration. It could be that. One of my favorite projects that was done on Thursday Co-op, the teacher had all the logic students. She assigned them, or they got to pick, I'm not sure which it was, a famous Renaissance artist and a painting. And they reproduced that piece of art the best they could. And then they had a picture next to it of the piece they were trying to reproduce. And then they did research on the artist. And then all the grammar students came through the gym, and each logic student had a small group that they presented their project to. And they were amazing. They were just amazing. So the project can be really creative and fun, and students usually really enjoy it. As you look through old packets, you'll get ideas on different things you can do. But it can be super, super fun for the students. Okay, so that's your. Oh, I forgot something. I didn't say the primary source. Back up. I skipped something under the history. Is the primary source. So the primary source is reproductions of original letters, documents, reports, engravings. It can also be pieces of art. And during the Renaissance, we did even a stained glass window. And what they do with that, the primary source, is they have some critical thinking questions about that primary source, and that they have to answer and think about. So they read it or look at it, and they really think about what that says about the people who created it. What does it say about society at that time? Really getting at those higher level thinking abilities. So that's what your primary source is about. Again, when you look at an old packet, you'll get some more ideas for primary sources. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is logic teaching. So logic teaching is about making connections. We're no longer just spoon-feeding students with information. We're actually asking them to do something with that information, to ask questions of why, what, who, how does this all connect? How does this event connect with that event? What are the reasons this happened? Why did the Roman Empire fall? What were the things leading up to that? What was the result of the Roman Empire falling? So we want to develop the skill of asking excellent questions. I hope to, when I talk about worldview, which is another really important thing I wanted to really emphasize, is when you're teaching, even at the grammar level, we're presenting Christian worldview. So I'm going to do later a teaching about Christian worldview and how to ask good questions. That is an important skill for you to learn. How to ask really good questions and bringing in that Christian worldview. Your class will look different than from a grammar class. again, as you look at an old packet, you'll see activities that logic teachers have done that get the students into thinking. Logic students can do so much more than grammar students. So don't be intimidated by them. They're a lot of fun. They have developed their thinking in a way that it's interesting to hear the ideas they have, and it's fun as a teacher to see students, the lights go on, and then to make connections and ask really great questions. Discussions are a big part of the logic level. So train your students how to listen to each other. That's really important. And be respectful, because students are going to have different ideas. And they need to learn to listen to the other people's ideas and to ask further questions of other students so that they understand what they're thinking. One of the things you could do is also have a debate. That could be one of your class activities where you assign a research question. That could be one of your critical, under in the packet, the critical thinking. You could assign a question to 2 groups, divide the class into 2, and give each student a side of an issue to look at or debate, and then come together and teach them how to debate. So that's a great activity for this age. You can still do reenactments and first-person history accounts, because students love that at this age. You know, they still love to do a lot of the things that grammar students love to do. We think that maybe they're too old, but they're not. They love it. But instead of just, we're not just presenting facts anymore, we want them to think about it. So after we've done an activity, then we want to ask some questions about that. So we do a reenactment, or we do a mock trial. Like I played Napoleon not too long ago, and I was on trial with the logic students, and that teacher had assigned different roles. There was a prosecutor, and there was witnesses, but what that teacher needed to do, or she did after I left the room as Napoleon, is they talked about that event and what that meant, and the why of it, and how and what, and how that connected to maybe what happened to Napoleon after the trial, and what that led to in France. So again, you wanted to take advantage of any activity you plan. Needs to have an element where you're making those connections with students. So thank you so much. This was training video number 2 on how to plan a logic unit and how to teach it. Thank you.